Origin and development of opera buffa. Opera is like a stage play, which is the drama part with characters, costumes, setting, and a plot. But the characters are singing, and there is also a accompaniment to the singing, either a full orchestra or a band or even just a solo piano. While the word buffa in Italian means to joke, and it is also the root of the English word called buffoon. The style of opera that was popular in the Baroque came to be known as opera seria. It dealt with serious historical and mythological themes. This style of opera remained popular in the early part of the classical era, but a new genre of opera emerged, which is opera buffa. So, opera buffa is a delightful form and first used as an informal description of Italian comic opera, characterized by everyday setting, witty humor, and lively music. The genre of comic opera originating in Naples in the mid-18th century. It developed from the intermezzi or interludes performed between the acts of serious operas or offering a playful counterpoint to more serious operatic dramas. Opera buffa was a parallel development to opera seria and arose in reaction to the so-called First Reform of Zeno and Metastasio. It was in part intended as a genre that the common man could relate to more easily, whereas opera seria was a lavish entertainment that was both made for and depicted kings and nobility. Opera buffa was made for and depicted common people with more common problems.
Opera buffa is a delightful genre of opera. One of the prominent features of opera buffa is its comedic element. The genre often presents humorous storyline, filled with witty dialogue, playful situation, and comical misunderstanding. This comedic element brings joy and laugh to both the performance and the spectator, making opera buffa a light-hearted and enjoyable experience. Another distinctive characteristic of opera buffa is the presence of relatable characters. Unlike the grand heroes and heroines of other operatic genres, opera buffa showcases ordinary individuals from everyday life. These characters are often drawn from the middle and the lower classes, making them more relatable to the audience. Through their flow, quick, and relatable situation, these characters create a strong connection with the viewers, evoking empathy and genuine laughter.
Hello, my name is Victor Wilder, and today I will be sharing about composer and the works in opera buffa. The first composer is Michelangelo Fagiolo from 1666 to 1733. Michelangelo is a founder of a new genre, Neapolitan comedy, and he was the composer of opera buffa La Silla in 1706. The second composer is Nicola Logrosino from 1698 to 1763. Nicola produced a comic opera known as L'Inganno per Inganno. And the third composer is Giovanni Battista Pergolesi from 1710 to 1736. Giovanni is an Italian Baroque composer and a violinist. Giovanni created an opera buffa known as La Serva Padrona, or the Maiden Mistress. Fourth composer is Alessandro Scarlatti. Alessandro Scarlatti is one of the first major composer of opera buffa, and he composed an opera buffa known as the Second Trespolo Tutore. And the last composer is Pasquale Anfosi. Pasquale Anfosi wrote more than 80 operas, which is opera buffa and opera seria. The sum of Afonso works is not completely known. That's all from me. Thank you.
Opera buffa, a comedic form of opera and significant social and cultural impact throughout history. It emerged in the 18th century and often depicted relatable characters from everyday life, contrasting with the more serious themes of opera seria. This shift allowed opera buffa to appeal to a broader audience, contributing to the democratization of opera. Socially, opera buffa provided a platform for satirical commentary on social norms, class distinction, and relationship. By incorporating humor and wit, it engaged audience in light-hearted manner, fostering a sense of communal enjoyment. This accessibility helped break down barriers between social classes, bringing people from various backgrounds together in the shared appreciation. So, culturally, opera buffa played a crucial role in shaping the evolution of opera as an art form. It emphasized on character development, and the use of spoken dialogue between musical members influenced the development of later operatic styles. The comedic elements also contributed to the overall diversification of opera, expanding its thematic range beyond tragic narrative. In summary, opera buffa is actually a social impact lies in its ability to bridge social gaps through humor, while its cultural influence can be seen in its contribution to the evolution of operatic convention and storytelling techniques. Thank you.
Opera buffa, like a funny opera, was a big hit and left its mark on later opera. It brought humor, everyday characters, and clever dialogue to the stage, setting the stage for comedic elements. In future opera, its lively ensemble scenes where many characters interact at once inspired similar scenes in later opera. Also, the mix of singing and speaking in opera buffa influenced later opera to experiment with using spoken word alongside singing. In short, opera buffa was like the cool older sibling who paved the way for fun and cleverness in later opera.